Hello and welcome in our lesson number 7. So today we are studying 4 consonants that have a common point. The sod, the bod, the pa, and the tha, sod, bod, pa, tha. They have in common that they are emphatic. Emphatic means that they modify the color of the vowel that follows. So we will see this in detail. So just remember that those 4 here, these 4 here, have in common that they modify the vowel. They are called emphatic consonants. They are quite easy to draw and remember because they connect on the right and on the left. So here is the isolated form of the sod, and here initial form, middle form, and ending form. So you know already how we can predict easily. Once you know they connect on the right and on the left, they lose their tail in the ending form, so it's quite easy to recognize. The same goes for the bod, which is the same with a dot. So here is quite straightforward and okay. The pa is also easy because it has no tail, so it means that the initial form is pretty much the same as the middle form and as the final form. And of course, the tha is exactly the same, so you have the tha in the initial form, which is the same as the middle form, which is the same as the ending form. So these, regarding the way to draw them, is very straightforward. They are easy to recognize. They have in common this kind of head, which is the same in the 4 cases, with a stroke for the pa and the tha. So the difficulty of these consonants does not lie in their drawing, and they are easy to recognize. So what makes them very special is that they correspond to other consonants that are not emphatic. So here is the most important thing in that lesson, is that you have the sin, so sa, we're going to draw it with a is, and then sod is the emphatic counterpart. So this means that if I say, and it's really clear with the alif, it shows really better with the alif. So we have sa and sa. Sa, sa. So the sound itself, the consonant itself, in some way is pretty much the same. It's an S, but in the first case, it's an open fatha, alif, and the second case, it's an emphatic a. So instead of a, so we have sa, sa. And then the same goes for the 4. So we have the dal, and then the bod. So again, if I add the alif for the sake of clarity, and so that you hear the sound, it goes da, ba, da, ba. And this difference is meaningful, so it's not the same word. If you change the consonant, it changes the word, and it also changes the sound of the vowel. So the same goes for the ta, and then you have a pa. So if, again, I add the vowel ta, pa, and then the zal and the va. So it goes tha, va. So this is the most important chart to have in mind regarding those 4 consonants, which are easy to spot in the text, in the word, is that they are emphatic, they modify the vowels, and they correspond to those 4 non-emphatic consonants. Sa, sa, da, ba, ta, pa, za, va. So just like the za is, you put your tongue between your teeth, you also put your tongue between the teeth for the va. Za, va. So once you know those 4 here, you know how to pronounce the 4 others. So we're going to have some examples here. So you focus on the vowel. You really focus on the vowel, trying to pronounce them correctly. We have sad, sod, dad, bod, tab, طاب, ذاب, ضاب, صباح, صاحب, خضاب, برص, ضرب, ضابط, حاضر, برد, طبخ, طار, رطب, بطبط, ضاضا, ذرح, خضب, حظ. For the za, I could not find real words with letters that we already know, so I had to create those here. The other words are actual ones in the vocabulary. As you can notice, the emphasis, the modification of the vowel is really clear with the alif. It's not so clear with the other sounds, like the other vowels. For example, burs, you don't hear like a big difference between burs with a sin, burs with a sad. Or let's say, for example, this one, khuziba, you know, it is emphatic, although it's not so clear. We will maybe see it better when we have the long u and the long e, which we don't have so far. So here, for the lesson today, the most important thing to remember is, of course, the 4 letters here, but the correspondence between sa and saw, da and ba, ta and pa, za and va. But this is the most important thing to remember. And work hard and see you in next lesson.